everybody. Good morning. Happy December 10th to everybody. Hey, Misha.
Hi, Charlie.
So this is an auspicious day. It's our going away party. I hope you're all dressed accordingly. What do you dress? How do you dress for going away party? Oh my goodness, what was that? We are here joined with Misha and some other really special guests. And we figured we would all kind of come together this one last time to to celebrate everything, and maybe Misha, you can help walk us down the road of how this all began so that we can have some beautiful closure to everything.
Thanks, Charlie. I think dressing for a goodbye is like, maybe it's just funereal wardrobe, although I didn't dress in black today, neither did you. So maybe that's good. It's not too somber.
It's more of a celebration. Let's make it it's like an Irish wake. We're going to party all night long.
It's hard for me to hold in my mind everything that we have done with GISH over the years, because it has spanned well over a decade and was so bizarre in so many respects, and pushed so many limits and achieved so many different things, that it all we were talking about this just in our little Zoom preamble session, and Rachel Miner was saying, like, I don't think I remember what years, what things we did for our charitable efforts with GISH and Random Acts in collaboration, and that is certainly true for me too. It all blends together, but over the arc of GISH, the main reflection that I have is one of pride and celebration. When I look back on it, I think we really did some incredible things in a very unconventional manner, and I guess, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd like to maybe just take a little stroll down memory lane. Philip is here on the Zoom, and Philip and I were friends who were engaged in a bunch of different creative projects together 12, 13 years ago. And I had just run the first scavenger hunt on my Twitter, which was the Rhino Hunt, which really was a Hail Mary. I just did it because I had promised I was going to do something to my Twitter followers, and I couldn't figure out what to do. So I came up with a little puzzle and a little game, and it was really functionally the first GISH. There were only 300 people that participated. And they had mailed all 300 people had mailed self-addressed, stamped, plastic lined envelopes to me, and I had promised to send them a portion of a rhinoceros, and that on that promise, people mailed me these envelopes. And literally, when I told them to send those envelopes in, I didn't know what I was going to send back to them or what was going to happen. And the first scavenger hunt was born out of that. And Philip and I were talking. Philip was an investment banker who had started, who had moved from New York to Los Angeles and had started writing screenplays and working on other creative projects, and was looking to get out of the investment banking. Sorry, Philip, if I'm revealing all of your personal secrets.
That wouldn't be anything new.
And we started talking about how much fun it would be to expand this scavenger hunt into something bigger with more people and greater impact. And on a true leap of faith, Philip said, you know what, I'll do that with you. And that began a many years long partnership where, but I mean, GISH would never have come into existence without you, you being willing to actually roll up your sleeves and make it happen all those years ago. And I think I don't know, I remember just being it was such a joyful process. Just playing in the absurd playground that was GISH, but also finding out that we could have a positive impact along the way.
I don't think I ever told you this, Misha, but the first GISH, which was would that be 12 years ago?
I think so.
Yeah. I went to the emergency care center to the cardiologist to have my heart checked because I thought I had a heart attack while I was operating. Our registration crashed, and I'd been in investment banking, as Misha said, and used to dealing with stress and raising capital for companies and being on the hook for certain things. But I'd never had thousands of people waiting for me to complete something with a countdown clock, and apparently that was too much for my ticker. So I was on the treadmill, all hooked up to stuff, trying to figure out if I'd actually had a heart attack during the registration of GISH. And I don't have the same memory as you do about the extreme pleasure and euphoria, but it certainly evolved into that, which was great.
It's great too, though, that you guys had one good idea after another. I mean, the GISH bus is another great idea, I think. So can you tell us a little about the origin story and the pitfalls of the GISH bus?
I mean, it's funny that you say great idea, because I think that there were a lot of things along the way that were actually terrible ideas that then in the execution turned out to be even worse than the original bad idea. Right. And the GISH bus, I think, is a prime example of that. Like, we decided that we wanted to do a tier status experience, like a VIP executive lounge that you might have at a first class lounge for an airline at an airport, where only people who have achieved certain tier status in GISH could gain access to this thing. And we created the GISH bus, which was this RV. It was a 1976, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was a real piece of garbage. This thing didn't run at all. And we had poor CJ and Lauren driving it across the country. And basically its whole function was to show up places and then tell people they weren't allowed to get on because they didn't have the tier status. And then when people did actually get onto the GISH bus, they could just poke around for a few minutes in this crowded, rundown, mildewed vehicle that, by the way, was in a different repair shop virtually every day because it was constantly breaking down. That was but see, that also is a source of joy to me. I don't know why. Maybe I just like to see other people suffer. What's wrong with me?
But it included your suffering too, because you got like Comic-Con, you're in this like sauna of a vehicle trying to survive. I don't know. That's also right. Punishment to you guys. I don't know.
It was
part of the genesis of that too, Misha, was we had this harebrained idea of getting a bus and driving it from California, from Los Angeles down to, I think it was Peru, where there was an active volcano, and then basically sending the bus into the volcano, which had a million things that were wrong with every step of that plan. And somehow that culminated into not that, but CJ and Lauren driving across the country in a broken down RV.
Just idea after idea.
I still want to see that come to fruition. I still want to drop a bus in a volcano at some point in my life.
That's a lofty goal. We've got several that are going off right now. I mean, the time is now, obviously.
Yeah. I remember a lot. I think it seemed like a good idea at the time, was kind of a reflective mantra that we could look back at most of the things that we did with GISH, and it was like, well, it seemed like a good idea at the time. I remember we, speaking of causing heart palpitations, we decided we wanted to try to break 3 Guinness World Records in one day. You remember this? It was in Seattle. Of course you remember. It was in Seattle, and we had everyone come to, we found a place that wasn't going to charge us a lot of money. It was a high school. It was a weekend. So we got everybody to come to the high school gymnasium. There were about 900 people. They were all dressed as French maids, and they had fruit bowl hats, still lifes on their heads as hats. And that was going to break 2 Guinness World Records right there, the largest collection of French maids and the largest collection of decorative headpieces. And I was coming from the San Juan Islands to Seattle, and I missed my ferry. So everyone had to stay waiting in this gymnasium that wasn't air conditioned. And it was like the hottest day of the year in Seattle. It was in the high 80s and humid, and everyone was incredibly hot, and we didn't have enough water. So when I finally got there, everyone was like soaking wet in their French maid suits and really exhausted. And and there was this question, like, should we try to break the 3rd Guinness World Record, which was the largest chain of humans to pass hula hoop along the chain of bodies. But we would have to go outside to do that into the blazing sun. And Philip was like, I don't know. It seems like everybody's really hot and really tired and really thirsty. And I said, no, I think it's a great idea. Let's go break a 3rd Guinness World Record. So we went outside, and by the end of that experience, 7 ambulances had come because people were passing out from heat exhaustion. And I almost had a heart attack myself during that process.
But to the credit of Gishers, people were passing out. You had to maintain a grip on the person's hand next to you to keep the chain. The chain couldn't be broken while the hoop was being passed for the entire time that the hoop was being passed. And it took about an hour for the hoop to go through whatever it was, 465 people. And people were passing out, but maintaining their grip on other people's hands, lying down. And the paramedics were trying to treat them while they didn't want to let go of the person's hand next to them. It was really pretty extraordinary.
So horrible.
Gishers are nothing if not persistent and dedicated individuals.
I'm sorry if anyone was there that day. I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry.
This is the mea culpa portion of the show, for sure. And then lots of hijinks, winners trips. And then I joined in 2017. And when I joined, I think about a month in, I hear, we're going to say this is the last GISH. And I was like, okay, I just started here. That's a great, is this a good idea to say we're going to end it now? And you're like, yep, we're going to end it. And it's going to be the last one. And then it's going to be a whole new thing. And I was like, okay, great. And then we did that. So then GISH became GISH, which brought a whole host of new opportunities for us to use fewer letters and more fun. And we did things like, we killed mascots. That was another idea. Whose idea was it to kill mascots every year? What's that about?
I think that was Misha's. That was Misha's idea, but not just to kill them, but to come up with a really, really creative ways of ending them and making sure it was captured on. You had a desire to do it in the Monty Python style of animation, which was great, and really expensive.
Right. And nobody saw these there were a lot of things that we did that were really efficient with GISH. And one of them was to create these videos that were the transition videos. At the end of each GISH, or the beginning of each year, we would unveil a new mascot, and the new mascot would be taking over from the old mascot who had been murdered in some brutal way in a little animated short. And those animated shorts, we didn't know how to make them, and so we had to hire animators, and they would cost us thousands and thousands of dollars, and then no one would watch them because no one cared but us. It was really just us. We were just doing it for us. I think when was it? Well, I don't want to jump. I know we have a kind of a plan here. Maybe we should start getting on point.
Yeah, let's do it. Anyway, so yeah, then we had mini hunts and we had lots of things. We had lots of COVID hit. We had a great time. But let's talk about, so your ideas for the company and for these experiences are one thing, but also what you made people do. So I just wanted to tick through some weird of the weird here that you asked people to do, just so we're clear. This was the first submission of the first hunt where you realized a couple of things.
This was the very first image. So the very first hunt was the 300-person rhino hunt. And this was the very, it was very high tech at that time. I just had people email me their submissions of the items that they were doing. And this was the first, this guy was, I believe, in the Philippines. And you can see he's in the item. The item was to cover your body completely in cotton candy with only your face exposed, but your face had to be covered in red lipstick. I'm not sure how my brain created that item, but there it is. And this submission came in. It was the first email that came in, that poor kid. And I just started laughing and laughing and laughing. And I remember walking into my son, I think, had just been born. And I remember walking in to Vicky and saying, Vicky, I think I found my life's purpose after seeing this particular photo. And then that next image was another really smart item. It was wrap yourself up in Christmas tree lights and then climb to the peak of a roof. And there were a few of these images that came in. This one, this guy is clearly just on a shed roof, so it's not that dangerous, but there was a few images that came in with people on the peaks of like the three-story roof, slate roof, completely entangled in electrical wires. And as soon as I saw the images, I was like, oh my God, someone will be dead by the end of the night if we don't stop.
I think that was the very first item we ever pulled off the list.
Yep, I think you're right. And it was a real emergency. Like, make sure no one else does that item.
Tell me about bacon. What's happening here? This is 2011 as well. I mean, we're going to tick through real quick, but
this is a funny image. So this is a friend of mine who was an erotic dancer, and she this was a bacon dress, and this woman loved to wear as little clothes as possible, as often as possible. And she created this is her bacon dress. You're supposed to make a dress out of bacon. Right. The thing that you don't think about when you do a bacon dress is that the heat of your body renders the fat. So it just becomes like wet and oily and disgusting. And with bacon grease. Sorry, one more thing on that. For some reason, all of the fans thought that she was me. And that I had like photoshopped myself naked into this photo. It's amazing to me that that woman's body is what the fans think I look like. That was a big conspiracy online at the time.
Yes, the Tumblr debacle of 2012.
Jensen wandered into a store. He was getting a charger cable for his iPhone when we were filming in Vancouver. And he wandered into the store, and the woman behind the counter, just her jaw dropped open, and she was like, turn around. And he was like, what? She said, turn around. And he turned around to find this portrait of himself in Skittles that they had been working on in the store.
Oh, so many Skittles, so many Jensens. Tell us about the cheese clothes.
Philip, do you remember making that cheese suit and then doing that photo shoot with the motorcycle?
Yeah.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that's one.
All cheese.
By the way, the only thing on that suit that Misha and I actually made were the shoes, and the shoes are the worst part of that outfit. We basically just squirted cheese whiz just randomly on his shoes, and the suit designer, who was brilliant, clearly,
her name is Spork. The woman that made that.
That's so awesome. There's just so many to go through, but we'll just tick through real quick. You made people jump out of things. You made people slide down things in religious attire, tea bags, couture,
My God.
a mountain ranged named after Gish was on Mars. After harassing them, there's so many examples of creativity and just total harassment. I think. Yep, underwater business meeting.
That's
making
so
people-
great.
So many things.
I can't believe more people didn't die. It's really amazing.
Good point. Good point. You also broke some records, as I recall. There's a certain organization called Guinness, not of the beer fame, that you have 8 Guinness records to my knowledge. Is that correct? We have
Yeah, I don't know how many of them are still standing. Several of them, I think, have been subsequently broken by other people or other groups, but we still hold, I'm sure, a few Guinness World Records, and over the years we did manage to break 8 of them.
Yeah, we also attempted one in 2018 and had it unceremoniously denied because of a technicality, but we had the most socks donated to a homeless shelter in a given period of time. But
Guinness changed its rules about awarding records to groups or businesses. So they sort of made it impossible. Basically, they started extorting. So you just have to pay tens of thousands of dollars to get one, basically, is how it works now.
Yep, they make that money. But the records that we broke were nothing compared to the impact that we had around the world. We've, in over 110 countries around the world, we've been played, and we went from thinking about how do we use all this cheese to how do we use the cheese but also have to eat it at the end, like try to reduce the waste that we did, less, more socially conscious, and we grew as a family. So we had, the hygiene dinosaur to all sorts of sculptures and things, and saved lots of lives, and with stroke awareness and bone marrow matching as well. I mean, we even helped people get married. I know Riley and our team got engaged as a GISH item, which we also, there's isn't there someone today, Misha? Did you say there was someone today that's getting married or something? Is Mary and Jordan? Is that their names?
Are they getting married today?
Yeah, I think they said weren't they? You said they were getting married today, right now, during the broadcast. Is that right?
That's amazing. Yes, I think. Yeah.
So happy nuptials to the couple getting married today instead of being here. Very smart move on your part to do that instead. But I think we would be. I wanted to actually show one more thing in terms of impact. Obviously, we're big on the health kick, big on helping people. I wanted to show a little something of a video. You guys kind of got into the wellness business at one point, so I feel like it's important to show off. One of the, how do I put this? A very important product that you put out to market at one point. So let me just grab that real quick. Let's see here. Is Philip still with us? Are you still with us, Philip?
He's here. He's just
He's hiding. Okay.
He's hiding because he's ashamed.
He's about to get.
No, sorry. I had 5 dogs barking at me. Oh,
Okay.
Serpessence is.
Yeah, let's just show this off real quick here.
Oh yeah.
The world needs to see this.
Hi, I'm Misha Collins. Now, what if I told you you could replace all of those complex chemical compounds in your medicine cabinet with one completely natural product? Serpessence. And it's made from 100% pure snake oil. Now, I know what you're thinking because I thought the same thing. How could such a simple, natural product offer so much? We ensure that each snake passes our rigorous quality control tests before being virgin cold-pressed using centuries-old extraction methods passed down from generation to generation. The result is a product of unsurpassed taste, aroma, and texture that is hands down the greenest snake oil on the market. Your body deserves this. You won't regret it. I've never looked back. Eat, pray, rub. Serpessence. Reawaken your inner viper.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's
I
something.
think that I don't know what to say after that, except we raised a ton of money selling that for one of our Giles Dooley charities, I believe. So something good came out of that atrocity.
We also ended up having like a small storage unit filled with with rotten oil, right? It was like olive oil that then became rancid because it had sat there for too long.
Well, it may have been rancid when we sold it. But actually the amount of thought and detail that went into that horrible piece of art was staggering. We spent a month figuring out what essence we were going to add, what smell we would add to it. Would it be orange blossom? Would it be lavender? It was just remarkable the amount of time we spent on something that nobody cared about.
Development there.
Yeah. Again, it was something that only Misha and I seem to care about, but it's important to us.
Hi, Rachel. Thanks for joining us. We're just talking about the wonderful impact that rancid oil has had on the nation and the world around us. The impact of this group obviously cannot be overstated. I think we'd love to just chat a little bit about the years of charitable fundraising and giving that's happened. I mean, you've been at the center of a lot of this work with Random Acts. How are you today?
Also, how I managed to end up part of this group in so many ways. Like my dream from when I was a kid was I never understood a lot of sports games. Please forgive me, but I never understood the phenomena of like how into football I would watch my father and siblings get and all that. And I kept thinking, what if you just like channel that same enthusiasm and energy into doing good in the world? And to me, that's what's so magnificent about Gishers too, is like just the energy that we would feel when we were doing these campaigns was incredible. And the amount of good that got done was just like unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it.
It's true. It's true. I mean, maybe Philip and Misha, you can just chat a little bit about how the first change of life items happened and what was the origin of that? How did that all come to be?
Well, I think that just to take a step back, Random Acts came about first in sort of the overarching genesis of this integration between, frankly, the fandom that I saw after joining Supernatural, and all the genesis for Random Acts for me was seeing all of the creative energy that people were putting in. It's sort of like what you're talking about, Rachel. All of the creative energy that people were putting into being fans of this show. And I thought, well, if everybody is creating all of this fan fiction and art and showing up to conventions, maybe we can take some of that energy and direct it toward collective action for good. And so that was the genesis of Random Acts. And then and I think that GISH was another sort of spin-off of that same thinking, but always with the intent of having some positive impact. Technically, so Random Acts is a nonprofit, obviously, and it's an all volunteer organization. We needed people who could work full-time on GISH to make it happen, and people need to get paid to do their jobs. So GISH is for-profit, but so technically the organization is a for-profit, but we never wanted it to be about making money. We wanted it to be about having a positive impact. So on years when we had a budget surplus, we would put that money into art projects and and then doing these big collaborative charity projects with Random Acts and ultimately with a lot of other organizations as well. So it was this nice, it's been so much nice synergy between these different worlds.
I just want to say, I remember when this all started, we were working together on Supernatural at that time. And I remember when the first time I heard about it, just think it was the most brilliant thing. And I went to acknowledge you. And anyone who doesn't know, you're not one to lap up the compliments, so you shrugged it off somehow. But I was like, this is incredible, because there's all this energy and you're directing it toward amazing things. And I know, to me too, one of the uncomfortable things with conventions and stuff sometimes was I was meeting all these incredibly talented people who had so much they were giving to the world, and like, to me, they were so much more talented than I would even consider myself a lot of the time artistically. And I was always thinking, well, there should be an outlet where they're celebrated. And so to see you allowing for that was incredible as well. It's just, I think it's really important, especially within the weird dynamics of fandom, where sometimes I think we get too much acknowledgement when so much of the creativity I'm always trying to say to people who are fans of the show or whatever, they're the ones creating it as well. We might embody these things, but then they're imbuing us. And that creative energy is what is guiding and inspiring us and keeping us going. And I feel like with GISH and with Random Acts, it's a chance to show that. So me being serious, I was telling Misha how wonderful this was, and he was like, I don't know, I'm not doing anything. So.
Well, it's pretty staggering to watch the game become like playing for good, right? To see people, whether they're feeling competitive or they're just feeling like they want to contribute something, especially during the pandemic and these other like big moments in international history where voices were raised and money was raised. And so we have a little bit of information about the charities I figured we would cover. Random Acts has been a core focus for a lot of different initiatives over the years. So I'll just kind of go through it a little bit year by year, just so that you all have a sense of the things that you've accomplished together as a community. Literal millions have been raised over the past 11, 12 years, right? And so many different organizations spanning so many parts of the world. To my knowledge, I mean, we've got things like the Jackmal Children's Center in Nicaragua school there from 2011 to 2015. You've got people close and far who've been supported over the years, helping families, veterans find support and help back in 2013.
That family right there, that was our first. We done some fundraising for Random Acts, like just general fund, but this was our first effort to laser point all of our collective resources to one family. This is an Afghan war veteran who was a double amputee, and he came back home, and his wife was suffering from some illness, and they had 2 kids with disabilities, and they were found themselves homeless. And another organization actually bought them a home, but GISHers fully furnished. We basically put together a massive registry, and GISHers fully furnished their house, got their televisions and all of their kitchen equipment and sofas and everything. And we were able to surprise them with basically a fully furnished house, which was really gratifying.
Yeah. And from there, I think, it's been project after project, there's so much, the year before I started, I watched the help of these unhoused refugee families. Can you guys talk a little bit about the $216,000 that was raised for them?
Yeah,
Philip, do you want to talk for a second about how you cross Giles and how that partnership was formed?
Yeah, I heard about a photojournalist that went down to conflict areas all around the world and reported on a lot of the citizens there that were being impacted by the wars. And his name was Giles Dooley, and he's probably the most remarkable individual I've ever met. He's now he's a triple amputee from stepping on a landmine when he was out reporting on how landmines are impacting citizens in these conflict areas. So he was a victim of his own reporting. But he still every year goes to several different conflict areas and continues to report and takes these stunning pictures and tells stories of families and individuals that are living in these areas and living great lives, but a lot of times suffering tremendously. And so he inspired Misha and myself to partner with him with his Legacy of War Foundation and figure out how we could try to help some of these families. And that we have
that Syrian refugee family that we were just, this is actually, this is also a member of this family, but this couple, this woman who's just lying in the bed there, was hit by a sniper while she was tending her vegetable garden in her neck and paralyzed from the neck down. When Giles found them, they're Syrian, but they were in a refugee camp in Lebanon, and she had been in this shed. Basically, it's a corrugated steel shed in this bed, without a wheelchair, without medical care, without her kids being in school. Their life was very, very difficult, very dirty, and very dangerous. And Giles took this photo, and they had already been there a year at that point. And then Giles, the photos that he took in this refugee camp were published in major international magazines around the world. Thousands of people read the articles and saw the photos. And then he came back 2 years later, and she was in the exact same shed. Nothing had changed for her. And Giles told us that this was incredibly depressing for him, because he felt like, what's the point of my work? What the hell am I doing with my life if I'm able to tell these stories and then nothing changes for the people that I have reported about? Where is the impact? And so that conversation was the genesis of us partnering with him and saying, well, maybe we can follow your stories, find the individuals that are most in need, and then use GISH to actually make an impact. So this young woman had tried to kill herself in the refugee camp so that there would be more food for her younger siblings when she was 12 years old. She is now, I believe she's in medical school now. Is that right?
Yeah, she's just started her first year there. And
And
that was always her dream.
they live in a beautiful home. They have all of the kids have gone through school. They're very well taken care of, and that is totally because of Gishers. Like, we raised the money to make that happen, and then when they ran out of money, we raised more money to keep them going. And it's incredible to be able to play a game that actually changes lives like that. Look at that.
Yeah, that's Aya. She was born with spina bifida, and incredible quick story. Her sister during the war in Syria put her on her back and with her family and carried her into Lebanon by foot. Carrying her, and her sister was 12 years old and carried this sweet little girl on her back to get her across the border safely. She's now living in Paris because of Gishers and attending school, has great medical care. Her whole family's there, and they're really happy. So it's really beautiful what Gishers have done.
I just want to sing a little praise for Gishers too, which is that the amount of impact you're having is so far beyond what you all have seen, in that you're also proving to people, they're showing to people that it's possible to change lives, even if you aren't a billionaire, celebrity, whatever. And I think that that narrative is too much in our society, and it's just incredible to show, like, no, every one of us, if we have enough heart, can actually make this huge impact and this difference. And I know from the time that I've been working with RandomX that the impact, say, with Lebanon goes so far beyond the individuals that you were able to help, because actually governments and very powerful people saw this situation because of the energy and attention that you all brought to it. And then we were able to house multiple other families, move that family on. They got housing through the government. Then we were able to house their families. And so the impact just kept going. And the same with projects I know you're going to touch on, like Land for Women, that just keep growing and keep impacting more and more people. It snowballs.
does.
The incredible energy we put in.
That impact also wasn't, we had these change of life, like this one for Dancescape in South Africa, helping to fund a dance school that takes this impoverished town and gives dancers the opportunity at Dreams, and this amazing headmistress of the school. We were able to fulfill a dream and hope of funding that school for a number of years, and it continues on. And in that same year, you protected 40,000 acres of critically endangered habitat in Nepal. I mean, and then, year by year, it's like you were talking about, Rachel, the Land for Women cooperative farming that is helping genocide survivors in Rwanda. Olive was such a huge story for all of us to see, a woman who forgave people that took her aspects of her life away forever. And through that partnering and through that work together, they were able to change lives, and you helped catalyze that. They support themselves now, and that's the goal, is giving people autonomy back from really intense hardship. 1,000 shelter dogs that year too. I mean, there's so many aspects that we've supported over the years. This mine advisory group, we diffused ordnance that had been dropped there by the U.S. government in Laos, and 2,000 acres of Laos also protected in an area where there's a very rare endangered species called the saula, which is they call the Asian unicorn there. We created tons of masks for our caregivers, and 10,000 plus masks were made individually and given out, when we had those mask shortages. We supported rural farms and people in India through VIBA. And it's just endless, and yet there's still so much infinite need. So, like you said, I want people to really take away from this what happens when individuals collect together to support causes. I mean, $280,000 for emergency children's hospital in Kabul, again through amazing Ambassador Giles Dilley, and Amazon Watch, $112,000 to help indigenous communities, support indigenous communities hurt by oil spills, and support them through COVID.
And then, I speak to another miracle is those, you hear those large sums of money, and I know because of the work that I'm doing with RandomX, those are often compilations of $5 donations, $10 donations. So it's just an incredible amount of energy from everyone giving what they can. It's never some huge donation that we were able to bring in or something. It's
exactly.
The other thing that's been really nice about all of these partnerships that we've had over the years is that they're very lean, efficient organizations, and we are working on very specific projects. So there is a role and a need for organizations like the Red Cross, but there is a tremendous amount of overhead and inefficiency as well in large organizations like that. But because of our relationship with Giles, and because he's on the ground in all of these different places, getting to know the people and the local activists who need very specific assistance with very specific projects, we have been able to directly and in partnership with Random Acts, we can set aside the funds and then we can allocate them to very specific needs with incredibly high efficiency and impact. And $112,000 for an indigenous community in the Amazon goes so far. You can get so much done with that much money. Likewise, $250,000 for a children's hospital in Kabul. That doesn't sound like a ton of money, but it was enough money. I mean, $250,000 goes so far in Kabul. So it funded that children's hospital for much of a year, which saved countless lives and dozens of limbs, and there are families that would not have their children if we hadn't been able to do that. So I guess I just want to express gratitude to Random Acts and the whole staff, because a lot of times these projects came up last minute and were not easy to pull off, and the staff was always so game to collaborate with us on these projects. And I can't express enough gratitude to Giles for all of his work and for being such a tireless champion of all of these often overlooked people and communities, and for having the trust in us to collaborate with us and the passion to keep doing this year after year, even after losing 3 of his appendages. It's so inspiring.
We actually have a video from Giles. He is in Ukraine right now. He's in Ukraine, and he wanted to send a video message too. So I wanted to share that in just a moment here. He's been such a tireless fighter for so many people. It feels like I don't know how to repay his work. I really don't, but you all have done so much for that. And so we're really appreciative of that.
Hey everyone, I wish I could be there with you in person, chatting to Misha and celebrating all that GISH has achieved these years. But as you can see, I'm currently in Ukraine with one of our ambulances that you have amazingly helped to fund. And really, I have to keep it brief because we don't have much internet here, but I just wanted to say how much I love the GISH community. You know, I've often said that it is the highlight of my year, the Change of Life Fund that we do each year, and I can't tell you how much I'm going to miss it. It breaks my heart that this year we won't be doing it, but that being said, we at Legacy of War Foundation, I'm sure we'll find ways to work with you in the future so that we can continue to create change, to work together, to really transform lives, whether it be the dance school in South Africa, the Syrian refugees in Lebanon, the demining in Laos, or the amazing Land for Women project in Rwanda, and most recently these ambulances in Ukraine. Together we have created real change, and I love you all and miss you all and look forward to, as I say, finding ways to work again in the future. But for now, I'll say goodbye.
Oh wow. I mean, we're so lucky to have Giles in so many ways. There's no way to say it. I figured now it might be a good time to check in with everybody. We have watch parties in all of the countries around the world right now. So I figured we could just grab a couple and say hi to everybody and see what everybody's up to here. So I'm going to grab a couple of people here with watch parties around the world. Let's see. All right, we're gonna grab, okay, we've got Kim and Sharon here. And yeah, if you would like to join us on Zoom too, go to the GISH bunker or the chat on our website in the updates page and come on in. We'd love to chat with you too. Even if you don't have to have a watch party, we just figured we'd grab a couple of people and see if you want to join us just to say hello, because this community coming together in this moment is so important to us. And it's
Yeah, I was gonna try to start the video too.
hi, Sharon.
Hey, we'll get everybody around.
Hi.
We're
Wait, can we take the blur off so we can see the other people?
we're working on that, sorry.
It looks like you are in a room with a lot of ghosts.
Yeah, wait, let me see. I think you got muted too. This is working well. This is classic. There you are. Hi, you're muted still, but now we can see everybody.
We're working on it.
Sharon,
Hi.
how many teams are there right now? How many different teams are in your room right now?
It's one team, 17 people.
Wow.
We've
And
got different years. We had 50 people over the years on the teams, and 17 of us have got together for today.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
and you won one year, as I recall.
We did.
What year was that?
2019.
2019. And so you've got 17 people from your team. And aren't you all like, some of you all like conflict negotiators, resolution or something like that?
Almost everybody in this room is a mediator or a conflict resolution professional. Yes.
Wow.
It's an interesting thing that you would have won one year with a conflict resolution, given that the conflict that may come up for people during the hunt.
I'm gonna say it's how you win. Absolutely, the most critical factor in our team is that we actually can get along really, really well.
That's awesome.
And I just want to say hello and I love you all. I had the honor of getting to work with some of this group for years, and
And sorry, can you tell everybody what part of the world you're in right now?
We're in Tsawwassen, British Columbia, near Vancouver.
Amazing. Beautiful. Thank you for joining and being here for this little send off. We
Do
really
you have any favorite memories from GISH?
Ask it to anybody here.
Many. I mean, hat, which Misha actually wore in a photo when we did a supernatural convention.
That was fun. Yeah, so many. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say I guess we had the only live awarding, and Misha surprised us at the Vancouver Art Gallery in a complete fake out where we were told to arrive with various items that they felt we had to dish off cast.
That's right. We lied to
That
you.
was a good
I
memory.
remember we were trying to set it up. We set you up. We didn't want to tell you that you had won. So we set you up as if it had been a tie between you and another team. And there was one final challenge. So you had to show up. I can't remember what we told you to bring, but probably, the shaved remnants of having shaved your pet or something like that. And then I surprised you in the gallery. That was fun.
It was very fun.
Yes.
We had a lot of things we did not get to use. Took days to unpack the cars afterwards.
Well, thank you, Sharon, and to everybody in the room there. We really appreciate your ardent, diligent work over the years and your creativity. The feeling of this family, I feel like, is going to continue forever. So I really appreciate it. Kim, you are somewhere with, what are those things? What is happening?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, guys. So where are you right now?
Can you see the whole crowd? So we've got about 7 people from our team and in a cafe. We've got a bunch of the people from the cafe joining in. We decided to do a Toys for Tots as well. So we've got a bunch of toys in a Toys for Tots box.
Where in the world are you?
We're in Denver.
Very nice. How long have you been gishing?
Sorry, we lost you. I lost you. Can't hear you. Hang on. Wait. Not again?
How
No. Hey, here we go. No.
How long?
Sorry, I lost the sound.
How long have you been gishing?
We only started 2 years ago. Now we wish we had stayed longer.
Well, it's lovely to see you in your cafe. Do you have any favorite memories from GISH in your 2 years?
Jensen Spackles for me. 6 hours of Jensen Spackles.
Mine was Rowena. The big
Yeah.
eyes.
She did the big-eyed Rowena that was in,
Nice.
And an extra added bonus, I did Charlie as well.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
No, that's good. We gotta go. Sorry, I think we gotta leave. All right, great. Hey, Chris.
Hi, I'm just alone here, but
Still
wanted to
valid.
join.
Where are you, Chris?
I'm from Finland,
Oh, hi.
Helsinki.
What's it like there? Is it freezing cold right now in Finland?
Yeah, there's lots of snow. Like,
Wow.
I'm not sure how much, but I can show you if you can see. There's like really, really lots of snow over there. I'm not sure if
Oh,
you can see.
wow. How beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, it's really nice here.
How
But
did
it's
you
really cold.
how did you come to join GISH?
I joined like, I think it was 2020 for the first time for Team Mama Cast. And I started to watch Supernatural in 2019. And then I found out about GISH. Then I wanted to join.
So it was during the pandemic for you.
Sorry?
It was during the pandemic for you?
Yeah, mainly, yeah.
Yeah. That was a kind of a lifeline for me actually during the pandemic, because everything, shut down and life as we knew it was completely rewritten. And it was really lovely for us, I think, for the whole team to collectively discover, wait a minute, we can recalibrate GISH to be something that everybody does from home and gives us a feeling of still being tethered to a community and to humanity in general, while we're all physically isolated. It was nice to be able to do that for me anyway during that time, because I might have lost my mind otherwise. Well, nice to meet you, Chris.
Meet you, Chris. Hi, Kincaid. Hi, Zai.
Hi, I'm not Kincaid. That's my husband's name.
Oh, okay.
Hello,
My name is Z.
Z. Hello, Z.
Hi.
Hi,
Go
Z.
ahead, Kincaid.
my name is Deanna. Kincaid is my husband.
Hi, Deanna. Hey, Kelly.
Where are you, Deanna?
I'm in Vermont,
Oh,
Rutland.
lovely place in the world.
I love it.
Yeah. How long have you been gishing?
Since the pandemic, the first hunt that March in 2020, I had heard about it from the previous year's hunt, and I was sad that I missed it. And I was really happy to have that mini hunt that one weekend kind of kicked it off for me, and I've been doing it ever since then. It really, really saved me during the pandemic, as you said. It was really hard for everybody, and it gave me this huge group of family. Shout out to my Gishalicious team from all over the world, and I actually got to meet one of them from Israel at the convention in DC. So I want to say thank you again for doing all this GISH stuff and making that possible.
Well, thank you. You talk about the friendships that have been forged, and I have had so many conversations with so many people. I mean, obviously, we hear the stories about people who met their life partners and got married because of GISH, but there are also all of these social networks that have formed through the teams, and I hear such lovely stories about a team member who has a personal family tragedy, and then the rest of their team just rallying to support them, driving halfway across the country to show up and help. And that's been a very unexpected and beautiful side effect of this strange little game that we've been playing. So it's nice to hear that you have some friends, and international friends at that, which is just classy.
Hey, Kelly.
Hi.
So how long you been gishing for?
Well, I started gishing back in 2020, so 3 years.
That's amazing. And any fun memories you'd like to share?
Yeah, so started the big GISH team, GISH This Way this year. And we got like really competitive and it's really fun. But like the biggest thing, let me fix my shirt here. The biggest thing is that we have that little Halloween rogue hunt that we put on just for fun for fellow Gishers here. And then we're also doing like a fun little Christmas one that's gonna be a little surprise for everybody. So be something fun just to keep the GISH spirit alive, just to say thank you to GISH because you guys are awesome. And you've inspired all of us to keep doing awesome things.
Thanks, Kelly. Wait, how can people find out about how to do your Christmas?
Yeah. So we do have a WordPress site and we are also on Twitter. So it's like at the Rogue Hunt. And we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. We've done posts in, sorry, outside work. Done posts in the bunker.
Got it. Okay. You're out there.
Yeah. So we have a website and everyone can look at it and we're coming up with a bunch of ideas. So it's a whole bunch of like Gishers working together to put something together.
How cool. Well, I'd love to hear that. That's awesome.
Oh, and we have a Discord too. So
I still haven't gotten on Discord. I got to figure that out. You're muted, Charlie.
Yep, I am. I'd love to show off a little retrospective video put together by a couple people here. Just in saying thank you and just sort of going over some of the things we already talked about here. But it's, wow. I mean, the impact of this community and then watching people come together and form their own sort of splinter groups of fun and creativity and trying to do better. It's just, it's pretty stunning. So this was made, I think, for you. I mean, so hopefully you enjoy it as soon as it'll play one day. No, doesn't want to play? Great. Let's see, hold on one second here. All right, talk amongst yourselves. Okay, let's see.
I just want to thank Gishers for always like including me, and I'm so grateful to have been part of this group across these years and just like never stop. You know, as I said, the energy you're putting into the world is so incredible, so valuable, and let's just keep finding different ways to channel that. And I hope we all continue that.
All right, I think go ahead. I think we've got the video sorted out here, so we can play that now.
GISHWHES.
I understand you started a scavenger hunt.
Yes.
A world-breaking, record-setting scavenger hunt. What is this?
You guys crashed the other platform. Thank you.
GISH, we've been crashing websites and streaming services for 12 years now.
We're setting the bar really high so that the weekend is even better every hour going forward.
Is it true that NASA got angry at you?
NASA did post an official tweet asking us to stop bothering
Boys.
the astronauts on the International Space Station.
Love that people can show up for the destruction of a broken RV.
And I just wanted to thank everyone. I mean, I'm almost crying because to me, it is something hugely important to me.
I am so grateful to you for folding us into your work. The partnerships that we've been able to undertake over the last several years have also breathed new life and meaning into GISH. For me, it's an incredible thing to look back on. It's almost unbelievable.
Wow. Yeah, again, can't understate or overstate or profess enough how incredible this community is. I'd like to bring somebody in here actually who, people earn GISH points as they participate in the hunt. And as you participate, you rise in the ranks of different tier statuses. You have this like elite status movement, sort of like Misha talked about with like an airline where you get to arrive at the vacuum executive salesperson. I want to bring Nick in here. Nick is of the top 200, Nick is #1 on the list. Hello.
Hey everyone, great to see you.
To my knowledge, last check, and I think we're actually tabulating final points right now. You have 138,067 GISH points, which makes you Diamond Presidential.
I feel pretty special having that status.
How does it feel to be second to Misha, who has over 1 million points? You gave yourself points, I think, Misha.
Yeah, go ahead, Misha.
Oh wait, I can't see you on my screen. I don't know why. I'm trying to find you.
Here. How about that?
Okay.
There you are. Okay, good. Hi.
Hi. It feels pretty special being second only to you.
How have you ever missed a hunt?
No, I've been playing every single year since 2011, and it has been such a big part of my life. So much fun, so much good. I'm actually all teary just after watching that video because it's like what we did. Wow.
It really is something to be proud of. I feel proud just to be a part of it. It's really lovely to watch. I'm not somebody who spends a lot of time thinking about the past. I'm more of a future projector in my own brain. I think about what's coming, not what has been done in the past. But it's really nice to take these moments to reflect on what we have done and have a moment to feel teary and to soak up that gratitude for having been able to participate in this. It's really nice to do. It feels really good.
Yeah, I really don't know what I'm going to do next summer. It's going to be weird.
Well, maybe we can find something fun to do. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, please.
Nick, do you have anything, any memories you'd like to share with us since you've been here since the very early days? Any wisdom to impart for your 138,000 points?
The main thing I want to say is it's not just me, it's the team. Like every year when I played, the team I have been part of has been amazing. It's like we competed with kindness and compassion. We all agreed that we wanted to have fun, and the charity element was just so important to us. So I just want to shout out to all of the teams that I was part of. Team 142 at the start, then Vatican Cameos, Charlie's Angles, Jellygish Dangerfingers, such awesome people, and the community. Like I went to meetups in Seattle. I was at that French Maid event where everyone was passing out. It was, I love meeting other Gishes, and I just think the community and the spirit that we have between us all is just so special.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's funny, there's a hierarchy for me a little bit in fandom, and this is not nice for me to say at all. It's just cruel what I'm about to say, but people will come up and say, oh, hey, Misha Collins, you're the angel. I love Supernatural. And that's like, oh, that's nice. It's nice to be recognized. But if people are ever like, hey, Misha Collins, I'm a Gisher, I'm like, oh, I love you. It stirs something in me to come across Gishers because it's this self-selecting group of people who are open to adventure, want to try new things, who are artistic and creative and collaborative, and also very conscientious and civic-minded people. It's just like it's a self-selecting group of pretty awesome people, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, totally agree.
Absolutely. And actually, Nick, we have a new updated total. Points have been applied. You can go to the top 200 page, everybody, too. We're going to put that in the chats. Your new grand total is 147,062 points by a wide margin. You are the number.
Oh, wow.
So
very impressive.
Thank you so much, Nick. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
But wait, to be clear, I have 1 million points. Is that right?
I believe you are 1 million points. Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
Is mine should be going up too, though, Charlie?
I don't think so. I think
the algorithm, but there must be something wrong with that.
It's actually 900 now. I don't know how that happened. Oh, sorry. No, you have 2,003,740 points. I'm sorry.
That sounds right. That sounds right. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's like 10 times what Nick has. Sorry about that, Nick.
That's okay. I'll take it.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Yeah, so close.
Well, I think it's time now that we reveal the winners for the 2022 hunt. We've waited long enough, and I think it's time we reveal those now. So I have a list of runners up here in front of me based on judging. It was a fierce competition this year. I don't know, Misha, if you want to give any color to this, but having judged and having looked at everything, it was a fierce competition this year. There were a lot of close calls, and the standings before bonus points were very different after the subsequent rounds of judging. There are 5 rounds of judging that happen in a blind panel situation. So the judges don't know each other. They have their own criteria. They have their own rules that they follow, but each person is judging with a different eye toward different things. Each judge has a different discipline or area of expertise that they follow. So there's always like little variants, but there's always a clear thread in there. So Misha, if you're ready, I can read off these names that we've come to here for the runners up.
Yes, go for it.
All right. So in no discernible, logical, or tangible order, the runners up for the 2022 GISH Hunt are Scrumtrulescent, Wayward _Sunshines, Egg, Team Egg, Jellygish Dangerfingers, Team Hashtag, Team Surrounded by Idiots, Team Nomad, Team Subtext, Team Hashtag Mishamigos, Team What Is Your Damage Heather, Team Kale of the Lord, Team Gratuitous Karaoke, and Team Kiss a Gish, and Team Free Fabulous. Thank you all. Incredible work. Stunning work. This year's was by very, very tricky list this year for sure. Misha, do you want to
give a shout out to all of the teams that have made the runners up lists over the years. It takes a tremendous amount of work to get on that list, and it's a rarefied group. There are many. There are thousands of teams, and to be in this category, you have to beat so many other teams, and you have to work really hard. You have to not sleep a lot for a week, and there are a lot of teams that have showed up on the runner-up list again and again and again, year after year. And I just want to acknowledge that dedication and hard work over a prolonged period of time. It shows a level of commitment and energy that exhausts me even thinking about. So thank you. Charlie, do you mind if I announce?
This is your party. I'm just here.
The winner this year of the last GISH is Team Pantheon. Nice work. You blew it out of the water. It was some extraordinary work from this team, and the competition was very stiff this year. So congratulations, Team Pantheon. This year, you were the best.
amazing work all. I mean, I think that does it for us. Misha, do you want to close us out here with some final thoughts?
I just want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone on the GISH team. This obviously is a big transitional moment for those of you who have been working on GISH, you know, full time. Some of you, it's a major life transition, and I am so grateful to you all for all of the work that you've put into this. We would not be here celebrating all of the impact that we've had around the world if it weren't for all of the work that you have done. I am deeply grateful to you all. I'm grateful to you, Philip, for taking the leap to join me in this enterprise in the beginning. I am grateful to Random Acts for being a willing collaborator in this process and such a great champion and supporter of these GISH projects. And I'm just grateful that this group of people, this community of GISHers, has been a part of my life. It's enriched my life greatly, and gives me hope for humanity. Seeing that people can band together to create art and make a real difference in the lives of strangers, that people are willing to step outside of their comfort zones and into a world of magnanimous play, is a constant source of inspiration to me. And I am just deeply, deeply grateful for all of you. So thank you. And reflecting back on the years of absurdity, beauty, and impact that GISH has had, I really want to say, I hope that we can all carry the embers that we are bringing with us on to start other fires in new chapters in our lives. So thank you. And I guess goodbye for now. Love you all.
One last video here for you all.
Mason and I made our little create, therefore we live sign. And in typical Misha dyslexic fashion, I misspelled therefore. Perfect button, I think. Thank you all.